put in a position where coverage lapses.
With all due respect, if you're going to talk about my mother's case, then you shouldn't talk about it without knowing anything about it.
I don't know what made this Republican, Paul Judge, think that he could get away with bringing up Elissa Slotkin's mother in this debate, but the representative from the 8th District of Michigan was not having any of it. You know better than this, Paul. Take a listen in.
So part of the solution into making sure that people can maintain their insurance coverage is to do everything we can to keep premiums low. And that means doing things like not putting undue burdens and regulations that require certain type of coverage that someone might not want. It's allowing insurance companies to provide coverage across state lines. We need to do the things to keep those premiums in check so that people aren't put in a position where coverage lapses.
With all due respect, if you're going to talk about my mother's case, then you shouldn't talk about it without knowing anything about it. My mother's case wasn't that she couldn't afford insurance because of undue regulation. It's because she had a pre-existing cancer that she had 30 years ago, and that forever and ever and ever, every insurance company felt they could gouge her and charge her $1,000 a month and a $10,000 deductible. Please don't speak about my mother as if you understand what made her health care unaffordable to her. And I think it's crazy that every time we ask you specific details about the thing that really helps people know that they're going to be protected, their kids are going to be protected, you deflect and start attacking me and raising my mother. Come on, Paul. Like, this is about being a big guy and running for Congress. If you're going to do it right and tell people that how you're going to protect them, and not some throwaway talking point, but a real plan.
Well, Congresswoman, thank you for that opportunity. And listen, I didn't bring up your mother's health care. I think everyone appreciates that you loved your mother and that you were sorry to see the challenges that she faced. And I in no way am disparaging that. What I'm addressing is that the problem of people who let their coverage lapse often has to do with the affordability of health care. And so I'm trying to talk about how we can address that issue, not just for people in your family, but for people in families across the 8th District.
We're going to run out of time here before I get to everything. I want to move to trade, if we could. Congresswoman.
Okay, so that was the entire exchange. It was worthwhile just watching Congresswoman Slotkin deal with him in that fashion, but I think it's worthwhile to break apart a couple of his disingenuous arguments. First, let me start here. As with everything else, the hypocrisies, the lies, and the propaganda, that is the point. That is their strategy. It is meant to slow us down. It's meant to slow us down while they accomplish their agenda. That being said, it is worthwhile noticing that he is using the idea of blaming everything except for the exorbitant cost of healthcare as it stands for the reason why people let their coverage lapse. So he's putting the blame on the lapse of coverage and not on the cost of healthcare itself. Meanwhile, Republicans are doing everything that they possibly can to undermine the Affordable Care Act without a suitable replacement, without a replacement at all. And this is simply because they have it as a regular talking point that feeds their base, even though a large percentage of their base benefit from Obamacare, from the Affordable Care Act. It doesn't matter. They have been pumped and primed. They have been so conditioned like Pavlov's dog to respond to the socialized medicine of Obamacare, that entire scare tactic. So they have no replacement. They have no substitute. They have nothing to give you in return. All they have are the political points that they get from attacking Obamacare, even if that means undermining the health care of millions of people across the country. Now, again, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about their hypocrisy or their lies because that's the point. What we need to focus on is obtaining political power to push back against them. Without political power, they will continue to represent a violent and dangerous minority in America that wants to strip away every right from you that they don't approve of. And we can't stop it by pointing out their hypocrisy. We stop it by getting political power, and that includes voting, but it is certainly not limited to voting.